This
Okay, thank you.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we will continue with where we left yesterday, right? We started installing Ansible. We also went through uh, some of the YAML basics, right? How to write a YAML file or what is the syntax for YAML file. Okay, so today we will try to we will write a playbook. We'll see how a playbook looks like and what are the things that a playbook includes. Okay, so when we say a playbook, it has these components. So it will have first is the host details. It's not in the same order, but just I'm just noting down. Like it will have the host details. Any variables that you want to define, you can define here in the variables option. Third, you have the tasks. Tasks will be like a set of instructions that you are giving. So, for example, like yesterday we saw file is one of the operations that you want to perform. You want to change some permissions or you want to install something, right? So those are all the tasks. And then we have something called as handlers. Handlers are also um, they are also tasks, but they are like event driven. Just a minute, I think there are lots of noise happening. Let me just give me a minute. Okay. So we have handlers. Handlers also are similar to tasks, but they're event driven. Event driven means, let's say when I update a configuration file. So one of the configuration file I've updated. Now I need to restart the service, right? So in the task, so the tasks will create the events and those events will be handled by the handlers. So we'll see an example, then we'll come to know what it is. Right. So we have got these handlers and then um, we can use some templates like any files that you want to use it. So that you can use in the form of templates as well, right? So playbook consists of all these things. So we'll see an example how to create a playbook. Okay. So for that, let's it's better that you have a editor like Notepad++. Um, let's say, for example, I want to let's save this. Playbook example. Let's give this a name. Ah, no, we will save it as a YAML file. Let's save it as a YAML file. Yes, YAML file will save it. So as what happened? Okay, so I think it is going for the all servers. Let me close and open again this one. Screen is frozen. Just a minute. I just try to open the notepad again. Okay, so finally, so with this one, I'll take it to the new tab and add it to the new tab. Okay, and this YAML file. So I'll go back to the YAML file. So here I can start writing the YAML file. So I can start with the 3 dash here, and then we have first thing is the host name that we can write. Okay, so that we'll add it here. So we can start with the dash and say hosts. Yesterday we saw the host, we gave it as a test server, right? The test server, we will give the name here. And then we will start define. If you have any variables, you can define the variables here. then we can start with the tasks. Okay. In the task, now let's say we want to install a server. It can be like Tomcat or Apache or anything. So we can go with yum installer. It's one of the package. So in that, let's look at the yum installer once. What do we have here? Okay, so yum, it'll install the package. So let's see what are the options we have. We will just check the options. Okay, name we can provide. Name is the package name. So let's go back and give the name. Okay, let's say I want to go with HTTPD. And state. State is one of the property. In the state installed. Let's go with the installed. Latest also will do the latest will update the specific package. Present and installed will simply ensure the desired package is installed. So let's go with the state and say in installed. Okay. And once this is done, so let's go and notify. Let's notify in the sense an event. So now it is installed. So we have to restart the service. Let's say we want to restart the service. So for that we will call a handler which will do the restarting. Okay. Here again we can give a name like so make sure that the alignment is proper here. So you can make use of this editors like this so that you will come to know that the indentation is proper there. Otherwise it will throw an error. Okay. So once we go with the notify, so we'll have the handlers here. We'll define the handler here. Again, the name we can provide. It should be the same name. We are calling this handler, right? So we'll copy this, paste it here. Okay. Then we will call a service. Service is again one more package, just like yum. Service is another package, right? Another module. So in that service, what we are doing is we'll again go with the name and HTTPD. So we want to restart it. So we want to go with the restarted option. So far, any questions, Vikas or Pushpa? Any questions here?
No, not for me now.
Okay, so this is basically how you'll be writing a playbook. First is the, as we said, like we need to have the host where you'll apply this playbook. Then any variables are there, you can define the variables. Third one is the tasks, what exactly you want to do in the playbook. Handlers is any events like once the task is done, task wants to like it wants to let's say create an event, and that event will be handled by these handlers. Okay, and any templates, like any files that you want to copy, for that you can go with the templates, right? But it's not this is how the structure of a playbook looks like. uh, so let's copy this, and we will run it on our machine. So let's go back. We'll take this one. I think it's connected. Let's connect it again. So we'll create a file. Let's say Ansible dot YAML file. So in that YAML file, so we will define, or we'll copy this playbook and we'll run it. Okay, so it is all copied. So we'll just align it once. Okay, so now it's all aligned. So variables, it's again so you can just comment it out if you don't have it. Then the task, we have the name. After that, let's put the name here. Okay, then we have the package, then notify, and then finally the handles. Okay, just see the indentation is all correct. All right, so once this is done, we will save this file. Okay, now how do you run it? There's a command called as Ansible playbook. Let's look at the help option. So these are some of the options that you can run with the playbook. Okay, so this is the playbook options. Um, you can, let's say you want to pass any parameters, so you can go with the -e, and if it requires some additional permissions like root privileges or something like that, you can go with the -b sometimes. So any remote user, what is the user? On the remote user, there might be a pseudo user. So that username you can provide with this -u option. So let's try to run this once. Ansible, Ansible.yaml file, and we'll be running it in the on the test server. Think we should be giving. Okay, so it will give some syntax error if there is any problem with the syntax. So it will throw an error here. So it's saying there is some problem. Let's see that. And there should be only one space between this dash and the name. Okay, so now let's go and see that. It's saying no hosts are matched. So let's go and check this vi. It is test server only. So automatically it will take the um, test server and it is trying to now gather some facts. So it is now trying to install, um, saying you need to be a root to perform this command. So for that, what we will do is, so we will become as a root user and we'll try to run this playbook. So it will try to now install the Apache server. Looks like it has installed Apache server and also restarted Apache. So let's go and connect to that machine. So basically when the playbook runs, so it will say that it is running on this server. The host details that we have given here on these two machines, it is running. This is a task that is install Apache server. So it has run on these two machines. It is changed. And finally, it is running the handler that is restart Apache. And you can see this yellow color is what changed. Yellow color is all changed on these two machines. It will just give the recap of what has done here. Okay. So we'll go and connect to that machine and see whether it's installed or not. Go to this machine. Okay. So let's check that sudo systemctl status httpd. You can see that now httpd server is up and running and it is just started. This is the time, it just 2 minutes ago it was started. Okay, so this is how you can use the playbook to um, install any application like this. So it has it installed first and then it has restarted the service there. So any questions here, Vikas, Pushpa, any questions?
No.
Okay, so
No.
see, this is how you can write a playbook and run from your Ansible server. Okay. So let's say if I again run it, what happens? Run it again, what happens? It will say that everything is okay, there is nothing to be changed. It knows that it has already installed. Now it doesn't have to do anything. It will check for the task to install the Apache server again. It will say everything is okay, there is nothing changed. Okay, if there is any change, then you'll get the details in the changed option. But otherwise, it will say everything is okay. Yeah, right. So like this, you can check like whether there is something changed, there is some error, it is failed or unreachable. Your servers are not reachable. You'll get the error here. Details in the summary, you can say. All the details you can get here in this, the final recap. Okay, so this is how you can write a playbook. Now there is another concept called as roles in playbook, roles in Ansible. Now these roles are again similar to in, let's say, um, we call it as roles in Ansible. We call it as cookbooks in Chef. Okay, and it is the manifest files in Puppet. Okay, so these roles, what does it consist of? Again, the same thing what we have defined here. So it is a folder structure. It has a folder structure. In that folder structure, you'll have some default folders. Okay, and then we'll have some tasks folders, and you can have some handlers here and some templates you can have here. Now this is a folder structure. Now the reason we are going with the roles is you can categorize all into a folder structure, and let's say I have multiple tasks to be performed. So all those tasks I can group under this folder. All the handlers I can put under this folder. Any templates are there I can store here. Any default variables are there I can store in this particular folder. Okay, so it is easy to maintain, and you can directly use a role. Like say you have a dependency on one more role, then you can call that role in your playbook. Okay, so we'll see an example. All these details are there in like in the Ansible documentation. Let's say all these roles, like how the directory structure looks like. Right, you can see this is how the structure looks like. There will be some common folder. In that we'll have task handlers, as I said, right, templates, variables and defaults, and some metadata if you want to store. So those details will be there in the common folder here like this. Okay, and we know that what the task will be doing. Task will contain all the list of tasks to be executed. Handlers, we know. Defaults are the variables that can be used across the roles, right? Variables again specific for the role if you want to use it. Any files you want to deploy, any template, and the metadata. Okay. So each of these tasks folder will have a main.yaml file, and in that YAML file we'll be writing our task details. Okay, so let's go and see how to write this role. It's again very simple. Like uh, we have a command called as Ansible Galaxy. Ansible Galaxy, and we can initialize, and let's say I want to create a role called as Apache. That's it. So the role was created successfully. If I want to go and check that, I will go with the tree command and say Apache. So this is how the tree structure looks like. It will create a folder structure. Basically, when I say Ansible Galaxy initialize, and I can give any name here. So based on that folder, based on that name, it will create a folder structure like this. Default, it will have this main file, handlers, metadata. You can have some details there, readme file, tasks, templates, any tests you want to run. You can put it here, the variables like this. So let's go to the Apache folder. You can see it creates all this default template, default folder structure basically. So what happens in real time is, like in the organizations, they'll be creating all these roles only. So everything happens via these roles. So they'll be creating the roles, and all the tasks and handlers and templates and everything they'll be putting into this particular folders. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's go to the tasks. Okay, and we will create like whatever example we have taken, right? So we'll clear this and we'll go to the main.yaml file. Okay, so we will define the tasks like let's say I want to, let's take the same task what we have done, like yum install. So let's look at the syntax once. Yeah, so let's go with this one like this. um, okay, so we will put it the detail here, and we'll add the state. So the state is like something like present. We will see whether it is already installed or not. Okay, so we will add this under the task, and let's go to the handler. This is done. The task is now done. So we will go with the handler now. Okay, now this task is done. We will go back. So we have got the handler folder. Let's go to the handlers. Here also we'll have main.yaml file. So we'll go to the main.yaml file. Here we'll add the handler. Let's see how they're adding a handler. Okay, so basically you need to give a name as well. So okay, then you can run this module. So we'll give it a name, like say a name is to restart Apache. Okay, and then we will call the service. Make sure it's all small letters here. So just and again same thing. We'll go with the name. We'll say HTTPD and then the state. Okay, restarted. That's it. So we need to give the name and then the service and the state that we want to achieve. Okay, so that's it. So what only thing the difference here is we are, if you go back to the playbook here, So this was the task, right? So the task I'm putting into the task dot main.yaml file. Handler details I'm putting in the handler dot main.yaml file. That's the only difference. Only thing is this notify I'm not doing. Automatically it will be executed. The handler will be whatever is there in the main.yaml file, it will be executed. Okay, so now let's go and save this file. Okay, okay. So we'll create Apache dot YAML file. Okay, so in this, now we'll be calling that role that we just created, right? That role we'll call here. So for that, we'll go with the first again hosts test server, and then we will go with the roles. I think it should be role. Let's see that. Yeah, roles, and you just give the name of the role that you want to call it here. That's it. So this is how your playbook will look like. Just the host, and you're calling the roles. In the roles, this is a role you want to call it. That's it. So you'll save it. And now let's run this playbook. Okay, it started to again run this task. Yum was a task, so it is already installed, so it is nothing to do there, right? So that's why it has escaped again. So you can add it to your playbook. So the playbook you can call the roles, multiple roles you can define, and you can call the roles. Let's say you want to import some other roles. So this is, let's say, multiple roles you can call like this. Like one is some common, the common you are doing something like you are doing web services you want to install and also databases you want to install, or some common prerequisites that you want to install. You can put everything in common here. Let's say Java prerequisites you want to install. So you can create a role for that and you can go with that. Um, So again, let's say you can import a role as well. You can import a role like this by include two options are there. One with the name import role. You can give the name of the role, and also you can go with the keyword called as include role. There also you can give the name of the roles like this. Okay, so this is how you can write a playbook and then create a role and use that role in your playbooks. Okay, any questions so far?
Maybe next session.
Yeah, definitely. But whenever in the real time, right? So you'll be always going with the roles only. So first you create the roles, you add all the task, handlers, default variables, templates, everything there. And in your main playbook, you'll just call the roles here like this. Because you can have multiple roles. So in your playbook, you can call them just with their name like this. Okay, so
Okay.
roles is important. So playbook, you can write it. Simple playbook is what we have seen, right? This is a simple one, like you want to just achieve installing this. It's all fine. But when we look into the complexity, like multiple things we want to install, and you want to maintain the variables, some files, some templates, then you have to go with the roles. So roles will be defined, and then you can call those roles here like this.
Okay.
And specific to environment also, you can create roles, some template files and roles based on, let's say, different environments you have, date, like a development environment, integration environment, pre-production and production. Then you can create roles accordingly, and you can call that particular roles when you are, uh, let's say, now I want to install, or I want to have a playbook for one environment, development environment. So I can say Apache underscore dit.yaml file. So in that, I'll be calling a role for my development environment. Similarly, you can have multiple playbooks and multiple roles. So that will segregate your playbooks for different environments. So that way also you can maintain the playbooks. And all these playbooks and roles and everything you can store to the GitHub, just like the same way. You can see all these. This is again from the documentation. So all these examples you can see here. Let's say you want to install something like Tomcat standalone. See, they have created a roles here like this. Under the roles, they have got Tomcat folder. So they'll have all this, let's say some files are there. So some script they want to run it, they'll put it here, right? So they'll add all this export Java, like I was saying, right? Java is a prerequisite. They're trying to set up the Java here, path variables, some details like this. So you can reuse any of these or modify any of the files here. Going back to the Tomcat again, I go to the tasks. So this main.yaml file is there. Same again, they're trying to install it's Java 1.7. So you go with the yum module, name, state, same thing here, like state present. You want to add some group, name group, add a user, you give the name as user, model as user, and then this is the name, this is a group, become true, and sudo access here given to that particular user. Then you're trying to download some Tomcat, you give the URL, you extract the URL, like this. It goes with the file and all these things. Likewise, you need to write step by step. And for this, you need to, let's say, for example, I want to install Tomcat server on CentOS 7. So go to some of this website like this. You will have the step-by-step instruction like how to install. Okay, let's say install Java and then create some users, make some directory, and then download the latest tar file for Tomcat. Give all these permissions. Likewise, the same thing we are putting in the in this. Sorry, where it went. We are adding all the steps in this particular format. So you're starting the Tomcat, some IP tables, some firewall rules, everything we can put it here in this format. And some templates were there, right? If I go to the Tomcat, there is folder called as templates. In this templates, let's say Tomcat users, this is one of the file. here we can define all the Tomcat users, like username, and these are all defined as a variables, default user variables. Say admin username is there, right? Admin password. So this we can find in the Tomcat, should be there somewhere in the, let's see in the files. So group variables are there, right? So you can get those details from here. See admin username, admin password. So you can define the variables and use them in the roles there like that. So these all examples are available online. So I'll just put this in the, if you go to the Ansible documentation, this example link they have given there. So I'll put it in the chat window just for your reference. Okay, so any other questions? So that's how you can write the Ansible playbooks and use it. Um, yeah.
How do we handle different patterns like with different host files, right? We'll have dev prod, etc. and all.
So you can create the groups, right? Like how we are creating the groups. Let's say you can say this is the development environment, and you can define all the servers under this. And then you can define one more tag, like say integration environment, like IAT environment, and you can define them. So whenever you are calling the playbook, right, you are defining inventory file is there. Basically, an inventory file is there. So using that also you can specify which server you are calling. Or whenever you are calling the playbook, right, you are defining test servers or something like that. So the way you can define is, if I go back here, uh, disconnected. Let's see. So this is the inventory file. So using this inventory, you can specify the file. Okay. So in that
Okay.
file, it. So let's take one example. I think that will be. Sorry, any.
No, that was background. Sorry.
Okay. So I'll give you an example. Let's see that. Let's go and check the Ansible inventory. So this is where we have set up the host files, right? So you can also specify different inventory files using this path option. So let's see what goes into this inventory file. So the most common format is the YAML, and it looks something like this, right? What we have seen. Okay, so default groups and everything. And YAML, let's look at. Okay, like this you can whenever you're running the playbook, right? If you want to get something from the inventory, you can go with like the staging and let's say production. So I want to apply this playbook onto both staging and production. So you can go with in this format,
Okay.
right? So these all inventory will have the details. Let me.
So
So, Vinesh, actually, how do we
Mhm.
make sure, like, say, from like Jenkins will pick up this particular host, I mean, like this particular hosts as dev or prod or something like in the real time? Because I have gone through some forums and there are some kind of these questions on this Ansible.
Mhm. Um, Same way, like inventory file is one option, or you can provide the whenever we are running the playbook, right? So you can provide the option like this. Let's say Ansible playbook. Let's say you're running an Apache, for example, like Apache.yaml file.
I mean, from Jenkins.
Yes, in Jenkins also you will be writing a stage, right? In the stage you'll be calling a playbook, correct? So
Yes.
that one you can provide like hyphen I. Okay, let's look at that example. So tomorrow what we'll do is uh, I'll um, I'll set up an Jenkins file with the Ansible playbook. So what it will do is it will deploy once we build the var file. So it will deploy to one of the Tomcat server. So using Ansible, we will try that example. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll call that playbook in the Jenkins file, and it will then deploy to the Tomcat server. So we'll look into that example tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, Vinesh.
Right. So any other questions? Like I think this is a little bit tricky, like inventory file. I'll also have little more details on this one. Let me check, and then tomorrow what we'll do is um, we'll go through. I think Ansible is almost done, so we'll go with the Jenkins, and we will look at the CI and the CD part. Like in the CI, we will go with Sonar Cube and uh, JUnit testing, and then we'll go with the Artifactory. We will store this everything in the Artifactory. Okay, the Artifactory we will store the var files and everything. Once we build it, we'll store in Artifactory, and then finally in the CD part, so we'll deploy this var file to a Tomcat server.
okay.
Okay.
Tomcat server, and that we'll do it using Ansible. Okay, so then
Mm.
it'll be clear there. So in the Jenkins pipeline, we'll do these things. And once this is done, then we will finally will go and deploy it. Okay, so this we'll see in the tomorrow's session, right? So tomorrow, by any chance, is it possible that we can connect? That is Friday for you guys. Friday, it's Friday evening, right? So because what's our availability?
9:30, okay.
9:30. Is it 7? Like as usual, we are connecting same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, just let me know any questions. Just these are interesting. Like explore for any of these questions so that we can target like any scenarios or use cases, and that will help, I guess. Anyways.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Then we'll talk tomorrow. We'll go with the Ansible, sorry, Jenkins CI/CD setup tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. No.